Hey everybody, and welcome to episode, what is it, 7 now?
Is it 7? Is it 7 already?
Episode 7
Dang.
of the Culture Shocks podcast.
Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, we just hit 600 subscribers.
Boom.
Pretty cool.
Easy.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
600 feels like...
It feels like a milestone for sure.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's weird because all we do is just sit in here and talk, and then I don't have the habit of watching YouTube Studio, like seeing the stats, and then just getting updated on that is really interesting. Like, oh wow, another like 30 people followed. Like,
Yeah.
wow, it's great.
It's just happening all the time. A lot of people have liked it so far. But we want to get back to like some really fun and exciting topics for you guys today. And
Yeah.
I just made a video on my main channel about foods that I miss about America, living
Yeah.
in Sweden, that are either hard to get or that I just don't really eat when I'm here. And that really was the inspiration for me to ask you, what are some things that you miss? And maybe I can talk about some things that I miss as well here on the podcast that I didn't talk about on my
That's a
YouTube
good idea.
channel.
We're gonna talk about food. I love that.
Sure.
I think everyone loves food.
Yeah, definitely. And we could also talk about, if you were outside of Sweden, what foods would you miss the most? That could be another twist.
The list is long.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just do a quick like overview of some of the things I talked about on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
If you didn't see that
Do
episode,
it. Boom.
I talked about like Mexican food, authentic Mexican food, and like Tex-Mex. Of course, Stockholm has some good like laneta, but there's still a lot of options like that we can't really get.
It's funny how you're like, what foods do you miss from America? Mexican food.
Yeah, I
That's,
mean,
it's in Mexico. Isn't
there's
it?
a large like Mexican population
obviously,
in a
yeah.
lot of the West Coast cities, and to get authentic Mexican, there's way more Mexicans in the U.S. than there is in Sweden. Even at the
obviously,
authentic Mexican place here in Stockholm, which is pretty good. It's a lot of people from South America that work there, but not a ton of Mexicans. I've met people from like Chile that work there, and some other countries in South America, which is interesting. But
Nice.
there's definitely a lot less of that here.
Yeah.
Also, Southern barbecue. There's like one good Southern barbecue restaurant in Stockholm, but
Which one's that?
I would say Brisket and Friends is the one that I've been
Shout
doing.
out, baby.
Used to be two. There used to be
Really?
one that shut down because the neighbors complained about the smoker.
What?
It was called Low and Slow, and it was really good. They had really good brisket. And,
Where was it?
It was really close to Stads Biblioteket. It was
Really? And
right
the neighbors
there.
complained of the smoking.
Exactly. So
And they should just gave them dinner every night and just try to keep them happy.
I mean, I would have
crazy.
never complained about that. I mean,
You're
coming
smoking,
home,
it's
I'd
good.
probably gain some weight coming home and smelling barbecue
You're
every
smelling
day.
that.
That was great. And I actually met one of the servers when I went there, was from my hometown, Vancouver, Washington.
Really?
Yeah, I heard her
Yeah.
speaking English, and I was like, so, where are you from in the States? And instead of like saying Portland, what I normally tell people, because it's like a bigger city, she mentioned like the exact like suburb of Portland that I'm from.
No way.
No way. So
What street?
yeah, that was a small world. Actually,
Cool.
invited her to the 4th of July party that we had.
Yeah, that's
so I was
right,
like,
yeah.
what other Americans do I know around here?
And then they closed the restaurant because the neighbors complained.
Yeah, it's
And here we are.
wicked.
Yeah.
So I missed that one. And then some other random things like from Costco. Like Costco they don't have in Sweden, and they have really good like beef jerky, like mangoes, like all sorts of things. Just those types of things. I think those were the main ones. Oh, and also I mentioned some things that go with drinks, like coffee creamer. To get
That's really
sweeter
American.
flavors.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think most Swedes would like that because they
No,
like
it's
the
too
normal.
sweet.
They don't want it too
we just want
sweet.
Black,
And also like flavor enhancing stuff for water. Like you could put like soft in it.
I remember when I think your mom bought you like this pack and you brought it home, and then she sent it over, and it's like I guess like lemonade, but healthier maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's just like higher concentrate. It's like more concentrated than like the soft that you would buy in Sweden.
There's a lot of sugar in it.
I think it's no sugar. I think it's like artificial flavoring, so it's like no calories in there.
So it's good, yeah.
Yeah, depending on it. I mean, some people might think you get cancer, but like outside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like.
Let's cross that bridge when we get to it.
I
right?
think it makes me healthier because I drink more water if I have it. So
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So those are the foods that I missed about America. Is there any food that you miss from America?
Oh my god. Yes. I don't know. You know, people talk about American food culture and they say like it's really unhealthy, obviously, because it is. But unhealthy in a lot of ways equals like really good food. But thing is, so first off, I live in Texas, and one phenomenon at the restaurants in Texas was So you always had free refills and free like nachos or chips and salsa.
Yeah.
Is what they call it. So every time you like walked into a restaurant, let's say like Chili's, right?
Yeah.
So they we're going to Chili's, and then you would get a table and you sit down, and like before even like giving you the menus, they're like, all right, what do you want to drink? So let's say you choose like Coke. So you get your glass with Coke, and you have that Coke while you're looking at the menu, and while you're looking at the menu, they give you chips and salsa. So you're like basically almost full once you order the food.
Yeah, when you go into a place and you're like so hungry,
yeah,
you just start eating.
Just devour. Because the thing is, if you empty the bowl, they give you new, and if you drink up, they give you more.
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
like, well, this is never ending. Yeah. This is great.
It's true. It's like bottomless fries and things like that at certain restaurants.
That's
more common in the US.
I mean, again, it's really unhealthy, but it's really I don't know. It was. I felt very welcomed to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then I mean the burgers. Actually, it was funny because I went to another burger restaurant called like the Red Robin's, and
Red Robin's is great.
Yeah, and there was like some burger called like Whiskey River Barbecue, blah blah blah. And it was
I know that one.
Dude, it was so good. And then I got back home and I was like laid on the bed, and I was on Twitter, and it was like the 10 worst burgers in America, and like the one I just had was like number 4. And I was like, Jesus fuck.
Worst in terms of health, I'm
so the most calorie packed whatever.
Yeah.
But it was good.
That's typical Red Robin. They have the best like Oreo cookie like milkshakes. Like here you go to a burger place and sometimes they'll have like the Oreo cookie milkshakes, but it's just like they're so much bigger in America. Yeah, I always like finish the one that I get in Sweden and I'm like, that was it.
Did I start? Yeah. But yeah, so I think I miss that like the over serving aspect of it, because yes, it's not healthy in the long run, but it just felt nice, just like, you know, it's like a guilty pleasure kind of thing.
I think when you serve more food, you end up eating more.
Yeah, definitely. No, and the thing was, I think there, because people are obviously pretty fat in Texas in general. I'm not saying everyone, but I mean it is a thing. They're like it's one of the fattest states.
The obesity rate
is huge
in the southern states of the U.S. versus Sweden. Is huge.
Number one, they drive everywhere. Like they drive literally everywhere, which is pretty common all over the U.S. I would say. But in Texas, it was like you wouldn't walk anywhere. Like it wouldn't happen. No. You had drive-through ATMs, you had drive-through food, drive-through anything. And the thing is, when you bought a drink, like here, you rarely buy a drink on the road, like because you have to pee and all that, and you just drink when you get there. Like you drink your coffee after your food, then you go to the car. But in Texas, it was like you buy your drink, and you just like heard that for like so long, and it's like super huge. Yeah. So let's say they chose like iced tea. A sweet iced tea, which is like worse than soda because there's so much sugar in it. They would get like a 32 ounce, and they would finish that and like refill it somewhere. And it would it's like that constant intake of sugar. Yeah. Okay, maybe they wouldn't refill a 32 ounce, but still 32 ounces is a lot.
Yeah. Well, there's like if you go to 7-Eleven in America and they have like the big gulp.
Big gulp. Huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
It's like if you're going to go on the road for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, which is really common in Texas, you just bring that drink. So I think that was a big like factor of people becoming really, really fat. Yeah. But then again, I was in high school there, and there was so much sports. So rarely anyone was fat in high school. In school, yeah. But then they got the freshman 15 of like when you quit high school and you go to college and you don't do sports. Yeah. So like you could tell.
And the drinking a lot more in college.
Yeah,
if you add a lot of alcohol calories from nowhere.
But to me, it was I never ate like that much unhealthy stuff as I did in Texas, like throughout my life. But we were working out so much in school, so it was like it sort of equalized a little bit. Leveled out. Yeah.
I notice in America, I'm like so much more conscious about my health than I am here, because I would like look around me and be like, wow, there's like a lot of overweight people, and I don't want to like end up overweight myself. So I would be like very, very strict about what I would eat.
You're like, I don't want to get there.
Yeah, it's like I think I went like a few years of my life with like never eating potato chips and never drinking a sip of any sort of soda.
Really?
Basically.
Wow. I think that's sort of unhealthy though. I know what you're saying, but I think that's like borderline crazy.
Maybe like
you're a freak.
Maybe I had a couple of rum and cokes in there. Yeah. I was making up for it.
Yeah.
But the thing,
so as the soda level goes down, the beer level goes up. So you gotta level up.
Exactly. I'm like, if I'm gonna drink a drink with calories, and I'm thinking of my college mindset here. If I'm gonna have a drink with calories in it, I might as well drink a beer because I'm in college. Like, I don't need to add Coca-Cola.
Man, I'm in college, man. I'm gonna play fucking 10,000 hours of beer pong.
Exactly. So,
can't drink Coke on a day.
But here in Sweden, I don't think about it as much because I see skinny people everywhere I look, and I'm like, wait. If they can eat a donut, I can eat a donut.
Yeah. Give me a semolina. I don't care.
Yeah, I got really in shape friends that bring like chips and stuff to my house. I'm like, why are you bringing this into my house? And then they're all eating it. And I'm like, literally, somebody brought chips over to my house the other day, and then I went to her house like a couple days later, and I like took them back. I'm like, I can't. Well, like I wanted to bring something. I had like some leftover wine from the other night as well, so I brought that. And I'm like, here, take the chips.
That's just like I think it's sort of common to like re-give the gifts that you give, but to someone else than the people you actually got it from, or the person you got it from.
Yeah. But I was like, if I leave these in my house, I'm gonna eat them.
Yeah.
That's how
I don't eat them, so
yeah.
No, but I think you never like drink soda or anything. I think you're like subconsciously really aware of it, but in a healthy way. Because I think you can like treat yourself when you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting though because I think people do drink more soda and stuff here and not even think about it. Whereas in America, I was always, people might drink it the same amount, but maybe whether it's like people getting less exercise or there's just like more sugar in the food overall.
I think we're just more active. Like now, just coming over here to do the podcast, like I walked from work. It was like an hour walk.
Yeah.
It's not really strange here. Yeah. But, I mean, like, all right, American watchers, when was the last time you went for an hour walk?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like for the purpose of working out. The purpose was to get somewhere.
Yeah.
I wasn't working out. Like,
this is what Fredrik does now that you have to pay for the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
I started doing that too. Well, normally, dude, like, if you didn't have to like bleep your card to go on the bus, like, I'd have friends that live like 2 or 3 bus stops away, and it's like 2 minutes on the bus.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm not going to spend $5 for a one-way ticket for a 3-minute bus ride.
Yeah.
I'll just walk for 20, 30 minutes.
An exercise, boom.
Yeah, the bus tickets are expensive here. I mean, if you don't have the monthly card, 38 crowns. It comes out to like $5 on the exchange rate.
Yeah.
So think about anywhere you want to go in Stockholm.
$5.
$5, and then $5 back.
Yeah.
So like, I went to go for a lunch. It's like, oh well, $10 just in the transportation.
Just to get there, yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say this guy is cheap. But
well, it goes to show.
It is, yeah.
But this is a very expensive place to live.
No, it is, yeah. And I think with because you can also buy a monthly card, which is like what, $130, I think.
Yeah.
About that. Yeah. But the thing is, if you're smart with the one-way tickets, you can actually spend less. Yeah. So you don't really want to buy that because then, let's say one day you just like maybe a bus comes and you don't have to go in the front, and then maybe you walk home. Then you're like, oh well, that was a waste because I have the monthly card.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Anyhow, back to the point.
Yeah.
So public transportation, food. Do you have like a guilty pleasure in America, like a really bad thing to eat, but you're like, I need it?
I would say my mom's Oreo cookie cheesecake, or like any dessert that my family makes.
Yeah, dessert.
Yeah.
Do you like? Are you happy with like a small piece of it, or do you have to have like?
No, I eat it like after dinner. I'm usually pretty full, so then I eat it for breakfast the next day.
Oh no way! Cake for breakfast?
Yeah, and then I usually have dessert after lunch. Like I just keep eating it till it's gone.
See, that's another thing I feel like wouldn't really happen in Sweden. Like having dessert, even if you had dessert leftovers, you like, this is breakfast food, so I'll eat breakfast. And then I might have some cake in the afternoon, like.
Well, what's the difference between an American having like a super sugary cereal in the morning versus having cake?
True,
to me, there's no. That's my other guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Really sugary cereals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there's this one from.
That's so bad for you.
There's this one from Trader Joe's, and because it's from Trader Joe's, it's not like Fruit Loops or something, so you don't think it's like, oh, it's like sugary like kids eat it. It's like, oh, Trader Joe's is a little bit more like fancy looking, and it's like this like chocolate granola cereal with like some nuts in there, and you're thinking like, yeah, I'm pretty healthy, and then you look at the food label and you're like, this is just as sugary as like Frosted Flakes or Fruit Loops. Like it's extremely unhealthy, but it's a guilty pleasure. Like you're literally eating like chocolate cereal in the morning. Yeah. It's great.
It's so good. Another thing that I miss is this was from when I lived in New York. was like the bar food, because they really prided themselves in bar food. I feel like because the bar food was really really good. And my first night in New York, I went with my cousin to like a bar where his wife worked. And they were just sort of looking after me and like, you know, ordering the right stuff. And then he's like, "Yeah, did you have dinner?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "All right, I'm gonna get us some lamb burgers." And I was like, "All right," like never had that. Best thing I ever had. Like, oh my god, that thing was just insane. And I'm like, this is a bar. Like bar food here can be okay, but it's like, it's not like it's not gourmet food. It's like it's the, you know, the your typical hamburger, maybe like some fish and chips. Like it's not. It's not 100% enjoyable. You don't really want to spend $15 eating there because it's like it's not that great. But the bar food in America, it was a treat every time you walked outside. Like they had like the signature sandwich or whatever, and like it was so good.
I wonder if that's just a New York thing, because New York is like so competitive.
Yeah.
Like that, if your like food is not on point, then you go out of business. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. That could be a factor, but then also like it's just. Like there's so much great food in New York. Like it's insane.
New York is one of the top 5 cities in terms of food in the world.
Yeah.
It was New York, Tokyo. The list that I looked at, the top 5: New York, Tokyo, Barcelona, and then Lyon in France, I think.
Yeah, and Stockholm.
And God, I can't remember. But the 2 that I had been on the list was New York and Barcelona, and I agree with it.
Yeah,
Those 2 for me,
boom,
easily the best.
How's Barcelona?
Really good food. Yeah. Our work has an office in Barcelona, and so I worked there not this last summer because of Corona, but a little bit the summer before that. And just everywhere around us there was 5-star restaurants, and it was just some of the best restaurants I've ever been to. Were just within like 100 meters of our office, and every single restaurant I would go to in Barcelona was just amazing.
Dude, I wonder like what the scene is going to be like now post-corona. Like how many restaurants actually got the appropriate government support to survive and then be able to keep performing at the level that they did prior, because the restaurant scene in a lot of cities were like on steroids. Like for instance, Barcelona, as you said, in New York, man. If you're ever there, go to 5 Napkin Burger. I'm just gonna say that 5 Napkin Burger, because you need 5 napkins to wipe your hands afterwards. Yeah, it's smart. Like that. It's so good. Shout out to 5 Napkin. Oh my god, it was like, because my cousin took me there too. Like a few days later, I was like, oh my god, it's the best burger I ever had. Yeah. So good. But especially in my opinion, from what I've experienced, like the food scene in New York was just insane. Yeah. So I just basically miss all that. Like going out to eat was like an adventure every night. Like just trying to find like good restaurants and just knowing people that knew where to go was really great. Because here, like it's fun to go out to eat, but you sort of know like what you get, and maybe I should try and find new restaurants in Stockholm too. But
one thing I would recommend is going on the Fork. If you haven't done that, because you can go and get like 30, 40, sometimes even 50% off, and you can just search for the restaurants that if you book through the Fork, then you can get like a super good deal. So sometimes if I'm like
I have an app
just
like that,
wanting to find like a new restaurant that I've never been to, I'll go on the Fork and get like a great meal for like 50% off, which is definitely nice because it's so expensive here at the restaurants.
And the rest of the money is put on the transportation to go there.
Yeah, exactly. So then you break even. But really, really good. And there are a lot of good restaurants in Stockholm. I would say Stockholm
it's for sure. Yeah.
For me, Stockholm is a good food city. It's not a top 10 in the world food city, but it's a good, solid food city. Like there's a lot of great places. I think.
But when I was in America, I definitely missed like going to the grocery store is a totally different thing in foreign countries, in my opinion. Like whenever we've been to like Spain or whatever on vacation, going to the grocery store is like so odd. You barely find anything. And in America, the case was the same. Like I was going to cook one night for like my host family, and I was in the grocery store H-E-B for like 2 hours trying to find the right stuff. Cause like it's not named the same thing. Like you don't really know what like the products, the brands, and the quality. Like I was trying to get like fresh salmon, and it was like so expensive because it wasn't that common apparently. Yeah. And I remember. I mean, they liked the dish that I prepared, but like I was so disappointed because it wasn't even close to what I was trying to achieve. And I was like, it's really hard. It takes getting used to. So I missed, Sweden has this version of tacos, for instance. It's a special like special spices that you put in it that you like basically only buy here.
Yeah.
And
the Swedish tacos.
So I missed that. I missed just like the regular Swedish dishes like meatballs. I rarely had any fish at all in Texas.
Yeah. I grew an appreciation for fish. Like I was never the biggest like fish guy, but then after living in Sweden for a while, I've gotten more of an appreciation for fish.
No, because I think that's it is way more common here, and different ways of cooking it, and just like trying to get a hold of it. Like not half of the restaurants in Texas had that.
Yeah.
Obviously, New York, because it's more international, and like there's literally a place called like the Swedish Salmon, like really close to where I was living. So they have like obviously salmon burgers and stuff like that. But yes, so I did miss like the typical Swedish things and just going to the grocery store and finding like the stuff that I'm used to.
Yeah.
But I think meatballs and salmon was a big part of like my big cravings.
I think some things that are better in Sweden are like breads, like bakery stuff.
Yeah.
Like America's not a big bakery country, actually.
At all, yeah.
Not really. Maybe New York, they have good bakeries, but like
have it all.
There are bakeries like in Portland, but much less. Like you walk around Stockholm, and there's like a bakery or a cafe on every corner.
Well, Fika's big here, maybe that's why.
But like I think that's like that in all of Europe. Like Germany's like that, Spain's like that.
Germany's huge on that.
It's really unique into Europe, which I think that's really, really nice. That's something that I miss going away from Sweden. Like today was Fat Tuesday, and I had a semla today.
Nice. Again.
So I've had like 4 semlas. And semlas is like this pastry with like tons of cream and almond paste and all this stuff with
we talked about it with his mom, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But anywho, the bakeries. That's what I miss.
Bakeries, yeah, for sure. I don't know. I think the food that you got from going out in America was like, it was really, really good, really unhealthy, and you got a lot of it, and it was great. But I think I missed the variation. I think in America we went to something called Pei Wei, which is like their Asian style food-ish place. And we went there sort of a lot, and there was the only like semi-healthy place was something called Jason's Deli, and they had like a salad bar that you can just like put or you paid like $8, cheap place, and you can just like take as much salad as you wanted. But the thing was, the salad had so many unhealthy items in it, like the sauces, and like it had like sugary granola that you could put on, and like bacon. It was great. But it was, I think it was, everything was sort of equally as unhealthy. So every time you went to a restaurant to eat, like you always had a feeling of not like, the feeling when you've had really good food but it's unhealthy. It's sort of like you kind of, I wouldn't say you have bad conscience, but it's just like it feels better when you had a great meal that was healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
100%.
Weird.
That guilty feeling. After.
It's a weird guilt. It's like, here when you're hungover, you eat something called kebab talik, right? So it's like it's kebab meat and fries and just garlic sauce, and it's amazing when you're hungover and when you're not.
It's always amazing.
But it's always amazing. But the thing is, like, once you're done and you're hungover and you're so full and maybe you have like some soda to it, you just like feel like such a loser. You just like lay there like, why did I do this? 100%. Why did I do this to my body last night? What did I do to my body now?
I get that.
But it's like, it's great in the moment. I don't know. It's a balance there. I think it's hard.
That reminded me of something else I would miss from Sweden is like the kebab tallrik, but also like the pizzas, like the Swedish pizza. Like I love American pizza, I love Italian pizza, but the Swedish pizza is just so different. Like I miss like a flank steak béarnaise sauce on my pizza.
Oh my god!
I need to have that like once a month. I think I get a craving for that.
Yeah, it's because it has really thin crust here, and I don't know. I think the deeper dish pizza that you get, not the Chicago deep dish pizza, but just like anywhere in America, it's the crust is so much deeper. It feels more like a sandwich.
Yeah, I only eat like a few pieces in America, and now I feel guilty because like when they give you a pizza in Sweden, you eat the whole thing, and you're just like, wait a second, I ate the whole pizza. Like, how does that work? I don't understand like mathematically in my brain, like that I eat like a quarter of a pizza in America, and I'm equally as full. It's like eating the whole pizza here. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah. No, I think to summarize that, something that I missed was just like really thoroughly home cooked food with like fresh produce and meats and all that. And something that I miss now in America is just like that guilty pleasure of going out and just like having really good food, but necessarily not that good for you. Yeah,
and I was lucky I had parents that were good cooks at home. So I think it all depends on.
Yeah, dude, there's this one dessert they had at this fast food restaurant chain in Texas called Whataburger. Yeah. What a burger! But they say it's so fat. Whataburger. So I was like, Whataburger, what's that? And they're like, yeah, you need to have this honey butter chicken biscuit. And I'm like, what?
Honey butter chicken biscuit.
Honey butter chicken biscuit, and it's literally like. It's a biscuit, so it's straight up a biscuit, and they put butter, they put honey, and deep fried chicken.
Sounds great.
It's just like, first time I had it, it was disgusting because like it was too much.
Yeah.
But I learned to like it, and then towards the end of my stay in Texas, I was like, well, this is good now. Honey butter chicken biscuit.
Sort of like chicken and waffles.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But it was just like, I'm like, wow. How did you guys? I just like imagine the meeting of them like working up. What's the next item? Man, let's put honey butter and chicken and biscuit. Yeah. It's weird.
Definitely. All right. Well, we're coming up on 30 minutes now, so why don't we transition to the comment of the week? Yeah.
It's the comment of the week. Yeah.
So, what do we got?
So, it's my pick this week, and it's from this user. Could be a dude, could be a girl. Revener 666. Nice. So definitely a healthy guy. And it says it's from one of our older episodes where you spoke about caviar.
Okay.
So he's like, Kalles caviar is one of the worst tasting sandwich caviars, by the way. And then he's naming Aderns, was like another brand, I guess. Coop and Kostefiskarens is way better. Kalles has like no basic flavor, which no notice if you buy the mild one. Like, it just doesn't make sense, but I liked it because he's like, he's so into caviar. Yeah, I'm like, thanks for the expert caviar advice, bro. Like, it was just, I love how you listen to a 30-minute episode and you pick up the word caviar and you're like, dude, this... I'm about to teach this guy.
I'm going to go off on this guy. Kalles?
Like, what are you doing? Kalles? Are you cheap, bro?
I think a lot of people like Kalles.
Yeah, so, I know, and it's a typical brand. Maybe they did a really great job of branding at Kalles, obviously, but I just love the way how this guy just really went in for it with caviar. And, I mean, thank you, Revener 666, for enlightening us with caviar.
Yeah.
I like the enthusiasm.
Yeah. Comment down below your favorite caviar.
Boom.
And the foods that you miss.
Yes.
From wherever.
From wherever you are
now.
Yeah, and if there's like foods from where you are that we haven't talked about and that you would like us to try, except for caviar probably, because, why not? I like food. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah. See you next week.
See ya.